Hey y'all, welcome to Boundaries and Grace. Hey, I have four tips for women. I haven't talked specifically to women in a while. Okay, I have four tips specifically for women. Now, eh, typically what I would say is all good advice, good wisdom is just like good advice, good wisdom for everybody. Like I'm very human. Okay, but there are some gendered things, all right? And we want to be able to acknowledge those things as well. So, y'all, good morning. Y'all, we're going to talk about fitness. Yes, we're going to start there. Uh oh. We're going to start there. We're going to talk about fitness. We're going to talk about friendships, media, and attitude. Okay, so this is going to be really good. We need it. This is stuff that just it never gets old because we always need to hear it. We always need to hear good stuff. I hear good, like the things that I believe are like fundamentally good and helpful for the like and conducive for the out like to get me to the outcomes that I want. I listen to that stuff. It does not get old. I always need it to fortify me. Okay, fortify. We don't always need something new. Sometimes we need to hear an old thing. Come on. If you like this content, y'all like it, share it, comments after we're done. Super helpful. All right, y'all, let's get going. We're talking about four tips for women: fitness, friendships, media, and attitude. Okay, fitness, how you're caring for your body, y'all, how you're caring for your body. The way you literally look, okay, is a part of this fitness, how you're caring for your body, your internal workings of your body, like your internal systems of your body, okay, how you're caring for your body and the way you literally look. I'm including that in here. Y'all, only women in in general, you're only going to hear a woman say face card never declines. Have you ever heard that? Face card never declines. I don't think a lot of men say that because they will decline it. Okay. They will decline it because they actually care about how your body looks. We're going to talk about friendships, who you're connected to. Birds of a feather always flock together. If your friends aren't living in a way conducive to the kind of life you want to live, you're picking up on their habits, you're endorsing their behaviors. Yes, you are endorsing their behaviors when you sit in the room with people. If you're like, I don't believe that, or I don't live like that, you're endorsing it when you're present and silent. Okay. You're endorsing it when you're present and silent, even imitating them in ways, which is natural for people to try to fit in and maintain belonging. You end up imitating these people, endorsing their behaviors, picking up on their habits. So we need to talk about your friendships, who you're connected to, media, what you're consuming and taking in. Media matters. Okay. Media really, really, really matters. What we consume, we also become. Imitating or wishing for celebrity lives, which are often dysfunctional or unrealistic, or consuming a bunch of gossip is way too common for way too many women. Okay. We're going to talk about attitude, the way you show up, the energy you're bringing into a space. You can be qualified for a position, but with a bad attitude, you won't get it or keep it. Okay. Nate, I'm just realizing that's you. I didn't know, but now it makes sense. Now it makes sense. Hey, Nate, good morning. So, y'all, we're gonna start with fitness. I'm gonna avoid last season. When I talked about body, in the last call for women part two, I talked about body, and I talked about BMI. And this time, I'm hearing the feedback. All right, I heard the feedback, and I'm a reasonable person. I'm not going to lean on BMI this time. I'm not even going to talk about it. I'm not even going to talk about it because yes, BMI is often used to peg Black women for their lack of fitness. And y'all, it is true that BMI is not the it's not the best. It's not a whole measure. Okay, there are some things that are different across races and ethnicities. Okay, when it comes to BMI, that's true. So I'm not going to lean on BMI. Although I do maintain that it's obvious with my own two eyes, it's obvious we don't have a bunch of Black women that have athletic builds throwing off their BMI numbers. That's not happening. Okay, so don't act like it is. Like oftentimes the argument against BMI, from what I hear from Black women specifically, because it's usually Black women that got to deal with the BMI issue. When people bring it up, BMI, it's usually they're talking about Black women because Black women do have the highest BMIs of all. And then Black women will say, well, BMI doesn't account for muscle. And I'm like, well, where's all the Black women with the muscle? Produce yourselves. Okay, populate yourself. Where are you? Can't find you. So I maintain that it's obvious that there's that athletic build and a bunch of muscle is not throwing off BMI numbers, but there are differences across races, and that does matter. It does matter. Okay, it does matter. So I'm not even going to focus on that. I'm going to focus on energy, mental and emotional health, confidence, and life expectancy. And I think that's just a more, it's just a more approachable way to go about this thing. So I'm gonna do that. But women, y'all, I'm gonna say this. I gotta come from both sides. We have a bunch of ridiculousness on both sides and a bunch of silly arguments coming from men and women, and I just don't like silly stuff. I don't like that. So we need to nip it in the bud. I nip it before I even hear it. I'm gonna say this: throw out arguments about men being worse off. Like men are off. Like I talk about mental. I'm saying I want to focus on women's mental and emotional health when it comes to fitness, and then women will say something like, "Well, men are the ones that are offing themselves," or talk about life expect. Like women, you should be more fit because it's going to improve your life expectancy. Well, women live longer than men. Men die earlier than what. Those are very dark arguments, okay? And it's not coming from a good place. I'm going to ask you to reflect on why you pull that kind of data to justify not doing something that's good for you, and why you would take something so dark and use it as to be defensive. It's unbecoming, to say the least. Y'all, we're starting early. We're starting early today. All right. So let's go ahead and get into the energy stuff. Your energy levels will increase when you work out, y'all. You think it'll make you tired. It'll actually make you energized. It'll increase your capacity for more life. When you work out, your body releases. I'm going to say this. We got to get some education in here, y'all. So you can't just, you listen, this is a tip for anybody. To trying to get somebody to do something, just telling someone to do it without helping them to understand why is ineffective. Okay. So we need to educate ourselves. When you work out, your body releases a mix of endorphins, dopamine, serotonin, norepinephrine, okay, adrenaline, cortisol, which isn't always a bad thing. We're going to talk about that. And growth related hormones like testosterone and GH, which is the growth hormone, to support muscle repair and adaptation. I know I said that fast. I'm gonna actually break down what those hormones actually are. Again, we need some education here. Black people specifically need to be more educated when it comes to their physical health. We have the worst, as a race, men and women, as a race, we have the poorest health outcomes. Now, there are a lot of factors, okay? Some of those are systemic, some of those are social, and some of this is also just ignorance. Okay, so we need to understand these things. Let's talk about some hormones really quick. I'm going to go down a list of the hormones that are actually released. All right, so endorphins, y'all. These are often called, when we're talking about working out, the runner's high. Endorphins reduce pain and create a feeling of well-being. Dopamine is another hormone linked to motivation and reward. Exercise boosts dopamine, okay, which reinforces the habit of working out. The more you do it, the more you want to do it. Some of you just haven't done it long enough to get that dopamine effect. You hear what I'm saying? So this is just a biological fact, y'all. Biological facts. Look it up yourself. The exercise boosts dopamine, which reinforces the habit of working out. The more you do it, the more you want to do it. But some of you just haven't done enough to get the reward. Like with running, y'all, I had said for so long that I am not a runner. I'll only run if I'm playing a sport. I've said that for so long, until Austin came along and started running and was running marathons. Okay, he's running marathons. I didn't want to run for 10 minutes. Not for nothing. And I felt like running on the treadmill, I felt like I'm running for nothing. Running outside, even worse. Hills for nothing. Okay. I don't want to run for 10 minutes. He's out there running 3 hours. Okay. So I had to look at myself. I had to look at myself and say, I had to look at myself. I wasn't getting the runner's high, okay, associated with endorphins, because I wasn't running long enough. That's simple. It's simple. It's simple. Now, when there was one time in college, I literally remember where I was on the treadmill in the gym. I was running for a long time, longer than normal, because I usually just do it for a warm up, running longer than normal. And I finally felt it. I was like, oh my gosh, this is why people like running. One time in college, Okay. Now I played sports my whole life. I'm a fitness trainer, group trainer, all that stuff, but not a runner. Never identified as a runner. Okay. One time in college, I remember the treadmill I was on. I was like, oh my gosh, this is great. I could keep running. I kept going. I was like, I never felt like I wanted to keep going. Oh my goodness, this is nice. Well, it wasn't until later. So now after Austin, right now I'm running. I've started running, right? Because I'm like, you out here running, you doing a whole marathon. It's not a it's not a competition. It's inspiration. All right. It's not. They're not the. Those aren't the same things. Competition and inspiration aren't the same thing. So I'm like, you know what? I need to start. Let me kind of see what's up. Let me kind of see what's going on. Now I'm running. Okay. And then I'm getting that thing again. That thing I got that one time in college. I said, I like that. So now I actually enjoy it. So some of y'all are not working out for long enough or doing it for long enough to get the reward that comes with it. All right. There's serotonin, which regulates mood, sleep, and appetite. It exercise increases serotonin levels, improving mood, reducing depression and anxiety. Black women, listen to me. If you want, you will say that you are you will say that depression and anxiety keeps you from doing things to take care of yourself. Well, this is something that helps to reduce depression and anxiety naturally. So why not do it? Why not do it? If depression and anxiety is keeping you from the life that you want, and you have a natural, you don't even got to pay. I think you should get a gym membership for some accountability and some access to group classes, trainers, and things like that. But you have access to the block. Get outside. Get outside. Take a jog. All right. To get outside and take a jog, free. Breathe for free. Breathe outside and take a jog, totally free, $0. Reduce depression and anxiety for free. Can't afford a therapist? Go outside, get some weights, lift some weights. Stress and energy regulation hormones, y'all. There's adrenaline, it's epinephrine. That's released during high intensity exercise. It increases heart rate, blood flow, and energy availability. So the more you do it, the more capacity you grow. Norepinephrine. Okay, norepinephrine heightens alertness, focus, and attention. That gets released during exercise. Cortisol, which is often just associated with stress, okay, because it is essentially labeled a stress hormone, it rises during exercise, but regular training helps regulate cortisol levels over time. So you end up with a better stress response. So some of you feel stressed on the front end of exercise, and again, not doing it long enough to experience the benefits of the resilience you build against stress as you continue to grow and grow your capacity. So it's like, oh, exercise is stressful. Exercise makes me tired. You were only there for 15 minutes and you were only there for 3 days in a month. You haven't been there long enough, frequent enough. You aren't consistent enough to get these kinds of rewards. This is biological. Your body clicks into it no matter if you want it to or not. But if you don't participate, you cannot reap the rewards. This is something your body will give you if you would participate, but you have to participate. Growth and recovery, y'all. There's a growth hormone, GH, released during strength training, okay, like weightlifting. There's other kinds of strength training as well. It's released during strength training and deep sleep. It helps build muscle, repair tissue, burn fat, okay? Testosterone, which is not just the male hormone, but men have more testosterone. So testosterone is boosted by resistance training in men and women. It supports muscle growth, strength, and bone density. Women who think that they're going to look like a man if they train, you won't, because you don't have the number of you don't not number of you don't have the amount of testosterone in your body to even give you that build. Insulin, and a lot of y'all are not working out like bodybuilders anyway. You're talking about 1 hour fitness classes that you ain't no way you can't even bulk. You have to, when somebody bulks or they want to become like they want to look ripped, you have to do it on purpose. We're talking about, you need lifestyle. You need lifestyle fitness. You don't need to bulk. Thank you. I see that comment. Y'all, right after this, we're going to talk about friendships. Just bear with me. And we need to do this for education, y'all. We need to do this part. And then we'll get to the friendships, media, and attitude. Insulin sensitivity improves with exercise. I want to tell you why that's specifically important for Black people. Exercise helps the body use insulin more effectively, lowering blood sugar levels. This is especially important for Black people since we have higher insulin resistance. As a race, Black people have higher insulin resistance. We face higher risk of type 2 diabetes related to health complications. How many of y'all, if you're Black, how many of y'all have someone in your family that has diabetes? I do. Okay, I do. And and he was never overweight. He was never overweight, never obese, never a weight issue. Okay, military diabetes. Okay, so diabetes isn't always it's not just an obese thing. Okay, but Black people have higher insulin resistance. We face higher risk of type 2 diabetes and related health complications. Let me tell you what this means. Insulin is like a key that unlocks your cells. Insulin is like a key that unlocks your cells. So sugar from food can go into those cells and be used for energy. Okay, with insulin resistance, which is what Black people as a race have too much of, have too much insulin resistance, or are more likely, more likely to have insulin resistance. Okay. With insulin resistance, the lock to get into the cell gets rusty. So it's harder to get in there. The key doesn't work. So the sugar builds up in the blood instead of going into the cell. Are you with me? Okay. See, didn't know about the higher risk of insulin resistance in Black people. And this is exactly why we need to talk about this. This is why we need to talk about this. So this is very important. So when the sugar can't get into the cell because your cells are too resistant, it stays in the blood. Okay, what does that mean? It starts to damage your body over time. It wears down on your blood vessels. It can strain your heart, hurt your kidneys, and even affect your nerves and your vision. Around 12.1% of non Hispanic Black adults in the United States have diabetes, compared to 6.9% of non Hispanic white adults. That's from the American Diabetic Association. American Diabetes Association. Non-Hispanic Black adults are diagnosed at a rate of around 24% higher than the general population. Leptin and ghrelin are hunger hormones. They help to regulate your appetite. Exercise helps to normalize those hormones, which helps you to improve your appetite control. So people are telling you, stop eating so much. Okay, well, how can I stop eating? I have a compulsion to eat. When you exercise more consistently, hormones naturally regulate your appetite. So it's no longer just about your willpower. It's also about it's also about the efficiency of your body's internal efficiency. That helps to regulate your appetite. So it's not just all, do I want it or not? Your body will help you to regulate that if you work out consistently. Y'all, on top of all of that, men do care about the way that your body looks. And if you're working with me, we're talking about people who want to be their better self, and they also want better relationships. So you care. You actually care. We don't act like it doesn't matter what women think of men. We don't act like it doesn't matter what men think of women. We don't act like perception doesn't matter. No, it does. And men actually do care about the way that your body looks. Again, women are the only ones that'll say the face card never declines. Men don't say that because they will decline it. Okay? Because the body's not right. Okay, how many men have I talked to? How many men have been my clients who will say, who will willingly say, will admit that they will look over the overweight obese women, um for plenty of reasons, but one of them is because, well, hey, look, I know that if she gets pregnant, she's just going to get bigger. It's not funny. If she gets pregnant, she's just going to get bigger. And if she's not already concerned about this, when she does get bigger after this baby, all I'm going to hear about is excuses, and she's going to blame the baby for it when she was already coming like that. All right. You don't want to deal with that. All right. Men care about the way men get to tell men to, men get to tell men to work out for themselves and for more women. They'll say, yeah, first and foremost, it should be for yourself. This is your health. But secondly, you're gonna have more options. You're gonna have better options the better you look. That's facts. Okay, men can tell men to work out and they'll do it. Well, and then some of y'all, honestly, it's the weirdos that'll be like, I'm not doing this for anything, for anybody. And if the women want this, I'm gonna sit on my ass and F it. Okay, like, trust, just let them go. Let them go. Okay, let them go. Let them have it. All right, you got it. But look, men get to tell men to work out for themselves. And secondly, right? Secondly or thirdly, whatever. I don't really care. But it's okay to work out so that women like you more. It's okay. It's okay. But when women tell women to work out, they won't do it. Not it's a very different kind of response. All right. Women cut it out. Now, let's talk about friendships. Let's talk about friendships. Friendships for women, you need to audit your friendships. Are they draining or are they energizing? But go further because women, I know us. I know y'all. I know. Not just are they energizing, what are they energizing you to do? And I want you to be honest. And I want you to be honest. Okay. Because are they energizing you to be a better, motivating you to be a better person for the long term or have a good time in the short term? Some of you have happy friendships, but not healthy friendships. Say it again, Taylor. Okay. Some of you have happy friendships. You're happy in the friendship, but it's not a healthy friendship. Ladies, we need to have a whole conversation. We could do it privately if we need to. We need to have a whole conversation about that. All right. For example, if I smoke weed, and I'm not smoking weed, right? I'm not smoking weed right now. But listen, if I smoke weed, I'm gonna feel happy. That is not a healthy habit. Okay. So something that makes you happy is not always healthy. Some of you have happy friendships. They're not healthy friendships. So you need to audit that. Just because you feel good in it doesn't mean that it's good for you. Birds of a feather will always flock together. Eventually, bad habits rub off on you. Mindset rubs off on you. Their habits, okay, the way they treat people, the way they treat men, the way they think about men, all those kinds of things can rub off on you or affect the way that you move yourself. And it's just not a good look. All right. Men are seriously having a hard time trying to figure out who is who because you talking about you're a good woman, but you know that that's not reflective in your friend groups. You know that the things that you're involved in, the activities that you're doing, are not reflective of what you say that you want. Okay, and men are not, and good for them for not risking by going into the group to try to get you out and hope that none of that smoke rubbed off on you. Okay, they're just not doing it. Just like if you women, tip for you, okay? Seriously. If the man that you're interested in has a bunch of friends that are out doing debaucherous activity and you think that that it's not going to rub off on him, or when he goes and starts talking to them about, sharing about the relationship or whatever, because men do that. Men do share with their friends about, the ones they're really close with about the relationship, or things come up, or they're just talking about like women in general. Okay. And you think that the man that you're interested in, or your man that is in that group, that it's not going to affect him in some kind of way? It absolutely will. I would not advise a woman to go into the group and think that the man that's in this debaucherous group is going to be different. Why would I think that? Birds of a feather always flock together. Okay. I could go on and on about that, but just anyway. So when it comes to friendships, y'all, look for aligned values and life goals. Aligned values and life goals, not just where you want to travel and what you like to eat. And I said that with some on it, because I know some of it's like it's what you like. It's what you like to travel. It's what you like to eat. It's the winery you like to go. It's the wine you like. It's the kind of events you like to go to. That's not long term. Those aren't long term life goals. Those are just likes and dislikes. That's just basic stuff. Okay. And I know that anyway, I think women, we need to have a real conversation just about some of the nuances of this stuff. Okay. I'm gonna move on. Let's talk about media. I gotta go in just a few minutes. We're gonna talk about media. We're gonna talk about attitude. Oh, let me finish this. Look for aligned values and life goals, not just where you want to travel and what you like to eat. Specifically for people I work with, of course, one of your biggest goals is a healthy relationship. If your friends are not focused on that, if it's not reflective in speech, in action, okay? And it either is or it isn't. Okay. If it's not reflective in speech and action, take space. I'm not talking about cutting people off and never looking back, but I need to have a series on in the meantime, while you're single and waiting until, okay, while you're single and preparing for, I'm really into preparedness. While you're preparing for, okay, what it is that you want, take space. All right. We need detoxes, take space, not about never looking back. It's not about throwing people away. It's not even about judging them, looking down on them, and you're not better than them. Okay. But if you're preparing for a certain season, there are some things that cannot go with you. Mindset, habits, behaviors, attitudes, things that can't come with you. And some friends that you have are not reflective of where you're going. And until you can truly, in a mature way, be able to manage that and hold the goal that you want, the outcome you want, relationship, hold the relationship until you're able to effectively hold both of those things, then you should focus on just what you, or then you should focus on the thing that you want. Okay, you should focus on the thing that you want. If one has to go, the short term or the long term, the short term should go. And when you can mature enough, okay, and grow enough and be strong enough to be able to have relationship with people who are not in the same season as you, that takes a lot. That's a lot. Just that in and of itself, maintaining relationships with people who are not in the same season as you takes a lot of maturity and strength and consciousness. And until you can effectively do that, okay, you should focus just on the long term and take space from the short-term gratification type of relationships. That's a word right there. Somebody take me seriously. Now let's move on to media. We got two other things, y'all: media and attitude. Media, similar to friendships, this is about what you're taking in, but media is much more covert in its messaging. Okay, media is much more covert in its effects than just friendship, than your friendship circle. The friendship stuff is pretty obvious. The media is very covert, it's sneaky, snaky stuff. Pedestalizing single motherhood, pedestalizing divorce, pedestalizing vices, okay, debaucherous activity. Okay, they show these things through story. That's what the media does. They send the message through storylines, and they make people look like you, so you naturally resonate with them and identify with them. Their bad behavior then seems normal and acceptable for people like you. Like you. Like you. I feel like I want to preach on that. Like you. Because some people look like you and they're not like you. Everything you consume matters. Every song is a seed. Every movie is a message. Every account you follow has your attention. Audit all of this. Women, this is very important. When Tyler, I didn't want to say it. When Tyler Perry, first of all, Tyler Perry, I wish he would stop. I wish Tyler Perry would stop. He's done enough. He's done enough. Please, Tyler, please stop. When Tyler Perry came out with the show Divorce Sisters, I feel like I feel right now, I'm getting upset. I'm getting angry. Actually, I'm getting upset. And we should be angry about this. We should be angry about this. Tyler Perry, a Black man with a bunch of power. When we're talking about Tyler Perry, a Black man with a bunch of power, a bunch of money, a bunch of influence, thought the best thing he could do was make a show called Divorced Sisters. And you know it's not about reflecting on how we got here and what we can do better. You know it's not. You know that it's about glamorizing and pedestalizing divorce. You know it's about erasing the effects that this has on people's families, their children, their own selves. I can't honestly, I have to move on, y'all. But please be careful. Please be careful. Please be careful and do not stop watching this stuff. It's not entertainment. Entertainment is the most ironic word of all. Entertainment's got to be one of the most ironic, disgusting words to use for this type of media. It's not entertainment. These are messages through storylines, and it's not good. It's not good, to say the least. Okay? It's not cute, it's not funny. I'm so serious about this stuff. I'm so serious. Attitude, y'all. Attitude. Last one, y'all. Attitude, ladies, the way you show up. A pro-social. I'm all in pro-social, y'all. Pro-social. Get to know it. I did a whole episode on pro-social versus anti-social people. A pro-social attitude is basically the mindset that supports cooperation. We need to learn how to cooperate. Cooperation. Kindness. Kindness. Healthy connection with others. This is about how you show up in community and the values that drive your interactions. Here are some key qualities of pro-social. I did a whole episode on this. I'm just going to literally read I'm just going to read some qualities and then that's it. I'm truly wrapping. All right. The pro-social attitude, we're talking about empathy. Oh my gosh, I can't even get into it today. Empathy, empathy, empathy. Judgment and empathy don't go together, y'all. Empathy, compassion, respect, fairness, justice, generosity, cooperation, altruism, helping people without something in expectations, without expecting something in return, gratitude, okay, trustworthiness, conflict resolution. That's a pro-social quality, someone with effective conflict resolution skills. And y'all, Black women, let me say this. In short, a pro-social attitude, y'all, is about thinking beyond yourself. We have too much self-absorption, okay, among women, among Black women. Self-absorption, self-absorbed people. And understand, y'all, self-absorbed is not the same as selfishness, but some of you are both. Okay, self-absorbed and selfishness are not the same thing. I'll be more clear as we go, because I'm seeing self-absorption is something we need to understand how to identify in ourselves and in others, because it's a tricky quality. It's a tricky covert quality, and it's something that you experience, not something that you really see. It's an experience you have of someone. It's a tricky kind of thing, but it's destructive. A pro-social attitude is about thinking beyond yourself. It's balancing your own needs with the needs of others. It's acting in ways that strengthen relationships and communities, not destroy it. This isn't about smiling, y'all, and being demure. This is about who you are and the character footprint you're leaving on the world and in your house. Okay? Especially in your most intimate relationship. Black women easily, 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 by far, have the reputation for the worst attitudes. The worst attitudes. And we all know it. You need to check yourself and not condone or support Black women with these nasty attitudes. Y'all, I hope this was helpful for you. Send it to someone who needs it. Follow me on YouTube, subscribe. I'm definitely trying to build my YouTube channel, so I really appreciate you doing that. That's it, y'all. I got to go. So I hope you have a really good day. Thanks for being here.